Why do people follow the Bible, the scriptures, the commandments, even though they know it's corrupted and it's been turned into a lie and counterfeit, and nobody's showing the proof that it actually existed 2,000 years ago or whatever, that it's actually the truth that came from the Creator? Why do people keep the Sabbath day, Sabado, Saturday, 6 days you work, 7th day you rest? Well, common sense. You don't want to work every day and kill yourself and be a slave. You have to rest one day. It's common sense. You don't want to overwork your body. You got to give it time to recover, to recuperate. Well, why do people choose the Sabbath, which is Saturday? Because rumor says, the churches say, religions say, that Saturday is the official Sabbath day. And they changed it to Sunday. Everybody was being killed from Saturday to Sunday. So it's based on rumors, beliefs, just like the Bible. That's based on rumors, belief that it's actually the truth, that the Creator exists, that there is a Creator who created heaven and earth. But what's to say it's not technology playing games? What's to say it's not aliens? What's to say it's, do evil spirits really exist? People don't believe that. People don't believe in curses and evil spirits and all that, but yet they believe in the Bible. I mean, how much sense does that make? Sometimes people need to, we need to check ourselves. It's like we believe one thing, but we don't believe the other. So you believe some parts, but you don't believe the whole thing. The scriptures have been corrupted, but some people say, well, gee, if you know the scriptures are corrupted, and perhaps maybe your belief is that the book has just been made up, myths and stories, and it's just a made-up book. So then why do you keep the Sabbath? And why do you keep scripture? Why do you keep commandments? Well, we have to use common sense. When you do the right things in life, you become successful. You don't suffer. You're not killing yourself. You're not working to death. You made the right choices, in life. So you're making enough money where you don't have to work 80 hours a week. We know that when we don't follow the commandments, we suffer. And the family suffers. And it's just a big chain reaction. People suffer because of it. So, it's a book of guidelines, commandments, that we follow. People follow it already, and they just don't know it, whether they read the Bible or not, because he said he's going to put his commandments, his laws in your heart, and you're automatically going to follow it. So the churches say, oh, you don't follow this and that, you don't have to, it's the old, we're saved, they can't save you, this and that, but they automatically follow the commandments. So the New Testament is just a copy of the Old Testament. That's all it is, really. And 10 Commandments, there's more than 10 Commandments if you think about it, came from the Old Testament. The commandments are perfect. So when you don't follow the commandments, the world suffers. The plagues come. Birth defects come. Sickness and disease come. Just because the world has lost its structure and failed to follow the commandments. But then now some people say, well, maybe the Bible is just made up. Okay, well, why do you still keep the Sabbath? Well, why do you still let your beard grow? Why don't you trim your beard? And then now when you get into the Quran says you could trim your beard. Where the Bible, Leviticus 19:27 says do not trim or around the corners of your head. So why is it contradicting? Why are so many different beliefs in Bibles? They're not all the same. So, but the commandments are still there. The commandments are the same. Well, it's kind of confusing because then again, if Muhammad is supposed to be the last prophet, and Exodus 6:3, Abraham called Yahweh Allah Almighty, then why does Yahweh say to Moses, this is my eternal name? So now Abraham never knew the name Yahweh. So how much sense does that make? If Abraham knew Allah but he don't know Yahweh, and Muhammad was the last prophet and Muhammad knew Allah but then he didn't know Yahweh, but yet Islam, the Quran, doesn't have Yahweh's name in there, but it has Allah's name in there. So you would think it's backwards. So maybe the Quran had Yahweh's name in there because this is my eternal name forever. This is what you are to call me. your heavenly Rob or Rabbah. That's what he spoke to Moses. And this is what all generations are to call me. So they just totally screwed up scripture, the Quran, everything. So the Bible, up until Moses, should have said Allah, because Abraham never knew the name Yahweh. So from Moses, this is my eternal name forever for all generations, to the last prophet, which would have been Muhammad, then the Quran should have had the name Yahweh, if that was the case. But do you see with the serpent, the ruler, how the serpent, the ruler, has screwed up the scripture to deceive Islam, to get them to follow the Old Testament, the Old Commandments that were perfect, that came from the Messiah, 1 Corinthians 10, from the cloud. But then again, how could the Messiah be in a cloud if he was never born? I mean, just think about all these symbolics, all these parables in the scriptures and stories and myths and all sorts of stuff. How bad is it all screwed up? You have to be able to put the puzzle together and understand Mystery Babylon. This is what makes the Bible so exciting. The mystery, the puzzle. Somebody came along and screwed your job all up, and now you have to fix it. It's just like being a plumber when you show up to do a service call. Somebody screwed up the job so bad because they got Joe Schmo that doesn't know nothing. Here you come along and you have to fix it, but yet it takes you 3 times longer because they screwed it up that bad that if you would have just did it right from the beginning, you would have been done, and it wouldn't have to take you 3 times longer to fix it. So this is what they did to scripture. This is what they did to the Bible. This is why it's called Mystery Babylon. It was Babylon that screwed everything up. Mystery Babylon, the serpent, the ruler. Revelations 12:9, the whole world is deceived. This is what happened to the truth. This is what the ruler did. This is why the ruler is a liar. This is why they are corrupted. And they have, when they came here to discover America and destroy the Indians and steal and rob their land, kind of like ISIS, and rape the women and kill them and do whatever they did to the people, it has not stopped. You think these people have changed? They're rich, they're greedy, they have guns, they have all the power in the world to conquer the world. Slavery. These people are not going to change. It only gets worse as far as we get into technology, nuclear war, bombs, Judgment Day. Why? Because who's giving them all the money? Who's spending their money for holidays? It's a win-win situation for the serpent. No matter what, he gets your money. He gets your money from taxes. He gets your money from your paycheck. He gets it from everywhere. He taxes you when you buy the stuff. Everything. This is when the prophets came, they came to speak the truth. When these 2 witnesses come, they're going to come to speak the truth. No more prophets, because Muhammad supposedly is the last prophet. But they just totally screwed everybody up, so nobody would ever realize and understand Mystery Babylon, and everybody would be deceived and against each other, and there would be division. So you can never put the puzzle together and understand Mystery Babylon unless you research everything and think outside the box. Your mind's like a parachute, it only functions when it's open. But if you're locked into one belief in one religion or one church, you're not going to think outside the box, and you're not going to figure and put this puzzle together, because people are so busy on making each other look good and worried about what they look like in a suit and a tie and to impressing everybody, materialistic world, but they're not doing their homework. Peace, shalom, bye.